after a very long hiatus. Welcome back to Julian Creates. It is Sunday night, and I just kind of wanted to make a video. I just felt like, I haven't been on camera in a long time, so I thought, let me do something fun. So tonight, I want to do the seamstress tag. I was asked about this probably like last year if I was going to do it. So I was like, why not? It'll be fun. So, first question, who are you? I am Julian Collins. That's my name. I am a public health professional in Cincinnati, Ohio. But I'm also the person behind Julian Creates. So I create clothing and stuff. When and why did you start sewing? So I have been sewing now, like actually sewing, actually like doing it and practicing and trying to get better for almost 2 years. It was a full year in like March, so a year and a half or so. It's funny because when I started college, I actually started for fashion design. My biggest thing is I want to sew. I want to make beautiful clothing. And in the school I went to, you don't actually start sewing until like your second year. You don't actually get into fashion at all. And I had a disastrous drawing teacher, or she probably wasn't disastrous, but I was like, it was just criticism and you not doing this right, and this only looked like you took 5 minutes, and I spent hours on it. And I was like, you know what? It was literally first day of second quarter. I went into my drawing class and I was like, no. Literally walked out and changed my major. That's how I did that. And before that, I used to draw all the time, used to like clothing and stuff like that. And now I create clothing. I don't really draw that much anymore still. It just has never came back after that. But I needed a creative outlet, and sewing clicked, and I love it. Next question. What is your favorite or proudest make? Favorite or proudest make? My proudest makes will probably be the altar garments I've made for church. I'll insert a picture so you can see. So those took the most time because most of them were like quilted, so they were never just one piece of fabric. It was multiple fabrics, multiple like months to make. And so I'm very proud of that. Those are my largest makes. A lot of times, each one including at least 3 to 4 pieces. So I'm very proud of those. What is your most disastrous make? I have made a pair of pajamas, a pair of purple flannel pajamas. And it was one of those things that I just wasn't feeling when I even started it. I was like, it's practice. I can make something. No. It was bad. I wear them. They're wearable. But it was funny because this was in my foray of vintage machines, and I had just gotten, I have a vintage Viking 6020. Yeah, 6020 or something like that. And it was my first kind of getting used to that machine, and just, yeah, it just wasn't the best project for me. So I learned that, pajamas are not something I really want to make. So I'm not going to wear them. I don't really wear them that often, but period. But I do wear those when I'm lounging around the house or something like that. What is your favorite place to go fabric shopping? That would probably have to be online. Now, this year I did go to the Garment District in LA, and that was amazing. I loved it. But now most of the places I go, I do a lot of online fabric shopping. So like LA Fitch Fabrics, fabric.com. There's a few stores here in Cincinnati that I shop in. Just depends. A lot of it, I'm noticing I bought a lot of fabric when Hancock Fabrics went out of business. So I don't need a lot. I have a good stash of it. Oh, probably one of my favorite places is called African Premier. That's where I get a lot of my African fabrics from. For me, and I love how African fabrics usually come in packs of around 5 to 6 yards. So That's usually what I have on hand. And because I love bright geometric prints and colors, it just matches me. Let's see. What's my next question? What is your most used pattern? So my most used pattern probably currently is this one. This is the Mimi G style. This one is made by Norris. This is DO755. It's the men's button-up shirt. It's easy. I love the fit of it. It's kind of it's a slimmer fit shirt. It comes with different options. I love the button that it has the cuff plackets. So it's a really simple shirt. I've made at least 2 of those so far using this pattern. I do a lot of button-up shirts, and I've used different patterns most of the time each time. But I use this one. I've used this one at least twice, so that's probably my most used pattern currently. Your most dreaded sewing task. Cutting out the pattern or the fabric. That seems sometimes like I realize that I'm impatient and sometimes just want to get to sewing. So sometimes it just takes me a long time to lay everything out and start cutting it. And I'm like, I just want to sew it. I just want to sew something. And I'll go more into that in one of the other questions. My favorite sewing task. Currently, my favorite sewing task would be hemming, surprisingly. A lot of my shirts and some of the skirts I've done for friends and stuff, I've started to hem them using bias tape. So sewing the bias tape on and flipping it over and sewing it in, usually in a contrasting color. So it just adds a special touch that I like. I also like using my button holder. My button holder is vintage. I use a vintage button holder. I wish I could show you. You've seen it in some of my videos. You follow me on YouTube and stuff, or on Instagram. It's the funnest thing ever. I have newer machines that have button hole, like have automatic. No, the button holes never look as good as a vintage button holder. And the funny thing is with my newer machine, yes, it will do a button hole. Usually I can get through 5 or 6 or usually, but it's always that last button hole or last 3 that it just does not want to do. It just does not want to feed the fabric. It just does not want to work anymore after it's worked for all the other ones. So I end up then having to use my other button holder, and the button holes look a lot better. And then so it's just that mismatch. So I said, I'm just not going to do it. I'll just use my button holder. I can get it done fast. I can get it done the way I want it, and it looks good. So, what's your favorite sewing entertainment? A lot of Hulu, a lot of Netflix. I had Sling TV, so funny enough, for a while there, I was on a kick of, I would just have Snapped on in the background. So I would just watch Snapped every day. Every time I was sewing, Snap was on. I was like, that's kind of morbid. So I've changed that a little bit. So now it's a lot of Divorce Court lately. It's on Hulu. So I'm like, okay, we'll watch Divorce Court. I don't know why. It works for me. Printed or PDF? Printed. PDFs are the devil. No, they're not, but I do not like them. I don't like the process of putting the paper together. I have not tried taking it to the printer shop and doing it. I need to, because it seems like you're taping it together. I'm sorry if you can hear that. My dog is acting crazy upstairs. My bad. Back to my question. The taping together process is always big. Then you have to it never fully lines up right, and then you have to cut it out, which is also a problem. And then there's some people that trace it, and I'm just not one of those people. No. If I can get away from it. I have traced some, but then it just adds an extra step that I want to do most of the time. So there's that. So I do like printed patterns better, mostly. That's what I usually use. Even if I'm ordering online, even from like some indie brands, if I can, I always get printed. What sewing machine do you use? So I use 1, 2, 3, 4. I currently have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sewing machines out. I'll insert pictures of them. I have this is one of my newer ones. I have a Singer Industrial 24113. I have a Bernino 1000 Designer. I have a Singer Stylist Serger. Then I also have a Juki 500 Exceed. That is my newest machine, so I use that a lot. Or more my most modern machine. It's not my favorite, but it's my most modern. And sometimes we have a better relationship now. At the beginning, I hated it. I could not stand it. I'm a vintage person. I love the vintage machines. Something about them. They're simple. They're heavy. They're strong, and you can just kind of put anything through them. Really, for me. I guess my all-time favorite machine is a Singer 15 clone. It's a Montgomery Ward straight stitch, black straight stitch. Strongest thing, it does what I need it to do. It goes fast. I put that up for a little bit. I need to get its tension looked at a little bit. So I have now a Bernina 540 favorite made in 1958. So I just got that out of the shop. So I'm using that as my vintage machine. So that actually, I noticed that I use vintage machines more. I like the precision to them, especially if it's a straight stitch or something I could put a good straight stitch foot on. I'll use that all the time. Of course, the Juki has more stitches and more things I can do with it, and it has the automatic tension, which is nice. The Bernina has the same thing, so I'm like, okay, this works. But also has the needle, the thread cutter. I like it. But again, like I said, the buttonholes we just not gonna do. Certain fabrics and certain things, like I then have to start adjusting the presser foot pressure, because it will stop feeding. So if it's something too thick, it will not fully feed the fabric. So if you're doing top stitching or something like that, is not my favorite machine for that. So I have other machines for that. So when I started sewing, I kind of started becoming a collector of sewing machines as well. It is kind of like an addiction, like, oh, what does this do? Each sewing machine has its own personality in how it sews. So there's certain machines that I like the personality better. I'm currently up to around 16 machines. Yeah, I know. It's a problem. Some of them are non-working. Some of them are just decoration. I literally have the decorations in my office at work. I have 2 sewing machines in my office. Well, 3 actually. And then I also like to get, people like to learn how to sew, and they talk about how sewing machines can be cost prohibitive, stuff like that. So I usually always keep sewing machine that I can give away for people who are looking to sew. Just because, it's simple. Because, people are thinking like, oh, I need something electronic and stuff like that. Yes, they're nice, they're wonderful, but you don't sometimes need it for what you're trying to do for just learning, especially the basics. Simple straight, like you just need a simple straight stitch and maybe a zigzag. That's it. That's what, in my experience. So that's what I have. But yeah, so the way I have my little studio set up, I have them all along. It's like an L of machines, and I have a rolling chair so I can roll between machines. And it's nice to have so many machines because literally I can be working on many different projects at once, and I won't have to change thread and stuff like that. It's just really simple. I can just, okay, we're going to this machine today. Let me thread it up real fast and let me go. It's easy that way. So that's what I do. I say I want to stop buying machines, but I know it's not going to happen. It's just not. I like machines that are different and unique. So what I have been finding is that I have a few machines that mimic like a FAF 130, which is from like the 50s. It was like one of the first zigzag machines that was available domestically on the market. But I don't have a FAF. I have a Viking one that looks like it, and I have a Japanese clone that looks like it. And the Japanese clone is old. You know it's old because of where it says it's made at. It's not saying that it's made in Japan. It says it's made in occupied Japan. That is a interesting machine because it doesn't use like regular needles. nor does it use regular bobbins. And I haven't figured that out. So it's literally just sitting right now. But it's a pretty neat machine. And then I have a Viking that is made similarly, but it's the heaviest machine I have ever picked up. It's like 50, 60 pounds. It almost weighs as much as the larger industrial machine that I have. It's crazy. Currently that's in the shop to get fixed. And it's going to take a minute because it's so rare. I've seen maybe a few other people have them, and I've seen only a few come on the market. So I can talk about vintage machines all day. Actually, if you want to, leave in the comments if you want me to do a video of machines, of some of the machines that I own. We'll see what happens. So what other question do I have? Do you have any other hobbies? I kind of do. I do a lot for my church. I go to a United Church of Christ church here in the city. So I do singing there and stuff like that. So I guess you can call that a hobby, but you know, it's just kind of what I feel that I'm committed to do for my community. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So sewing, I realized that when I came to sewing, I needed a creative outlet. So this became my creative outlet that I was looking for. It's very neat because, especially as a kid, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a sewer. I realized that going to fashion design school was not what I wanted to do. I didn't want to become a fashion designer. I want to be like a dressmaker or a tailor. I want to be hands-on with the fabric. That's what I like to do. I can make my own changes here and there on the machine. So that is, if I had my dream career, which I'm working towards, I would love to do just custom fashions, like on a one-on-one basis, not like, not something where I'm up here making this big conglomerate of people buying. I like to make. I want to be the maker. It would be cool to own like a manufacturing firm, so I have other people work with me, and really just bring back the old school dressmaking where people actually went and got their clothes made that were made with quality and stuff like that, so that it's not something that is fast fashion. It's not something that's going to break apart, or if you buy something from some of these box stores, you literally wash it once or twice and it's like, yeah, I'm good. What I try to make will last. The way that I do my seams will last. The way that, if you look on the inside, is not something that it was cheaply made. I put time into it. I'm a slow sewer. So it takes me a bit of time, and I make sure that I'm putting effort into it. And that's what's important to me, because that's what makes me proud. And when you wear your own garment, it has a different feeling. Like once I made my first garment for myself and wore it, it was like, oh, okay. And even, I would not say that I've always been the best with handling my clothes, but the stuff I make, I handle correctly. I make sure that it's pressed. I make sure that it's folded. I make sure that it's put away properly, because there's care in that. And I don't have that same feeling and that same connection with stuff I buy. And it just has a different feel to it. Usually, even if it's just a cotton shirt, it feels softer. You can feel the hands that you put into it, the warmth that you put into it as you are making it. Even if it has mistakes, there's still something to it that makes it feel better. So that's me. So yeah, that is the end of the tag. I know this tag is super old, but yeah, just thought it would be fun to do. Yeah. Please like, comment, subscribe. Hopefully I'm going to be doing this more. Also now, I actually have a blog that I've started. It's called Julian Creates. It's at www.juliancreates.com. I'll put it down in the description below. Please follow me on social media. I do have a like page of Julian Creates. You can follow me at Julian Collins on Facebook. Instagram, I'm Julian_Cordell, as well as Julian Creates. So please follow. And come and see what I create next. And hopefully you are out there creating yourself. The name Julian Creates is not just about creating fashion, but it's really about creating the life that I want to live. And I hope you're doing the same for yourself. So until next time, have a good night.